Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to Fire Your Graphic Designer. Fire Your Graphic Designer is a course I put together where I'm going to be showing you how you can very easily design graphics like banners and other kinds of graphics in PowerPoint and Photoshop. I think, as internet marketers or people who don't, if you're somebody who doesn't consider yourself an artistic person, a lot of the time people are scared of the word, graphic design. People are scared of putting together graphics. Like, I'm not an artsy person. I wouldn't know where to start. But the reality is, as internet marketers, we are more often than not forced to learn how to do stuff, right? Not because we want to, but because we need to, because we currently can't afford it. So we're forced to learn how to write copy. We're forced to learn how to do different stuff, including graphic design. So this course is one I put together. It's a quick little course showing you how you can very easily design these graphics in Photoshop and PowerPoint. Internet marketers are definitely, jacks of all trades and masters of none. So this is video number 1, and this one's called Why You Should Care About Graphic Design. So in my opinion, there are just certain things about your business that people naturally know you do not want to skimp out on the money when it comes to this. So when it comes to copy, you don't want to skimp out on, if you're paying somebody to write copy for you, you don't want to skimp out on the quality because, crappy quality copy means, a lower conversion rate, and that means less money in your pocket, right? I would make the argument that low quality graphic design means the same thing. And we're going to get into that later, but in my opinion, graphic design is something you definitely should care about, right? So this one's called Why You Should Care About Graphic Design. So you might have this thought in your head right now, and that thought might be, I'm not a graphic designer. Why should I even care? Look, dude, I'm not an artsy person. I've never been an artsy person. I've always been better at math than I was at, writing and other creative stuff. I literally just want to put my product out there on the internet. I couldn't care the slightest about graphic design, right? Why should I care? Okay. All I want to do is release my product. I typed it up in Microsoft Word and I made it into a PDF, or I recorded this video and I just want to release my product. Why should I care? Okay. And the reason is you may not care, but your customers do, even if they aren't aware, right? So now I'm sort of speaking your language. If your customers care, then you care, right? And what's interesting is sometimes they don't even notice that they're taking your graphic design into consideration. And why is that? That's because of something called sensation transference. And sensation transference is when a customer unconsciously transfers his or her perception of the way a product is packaged over to the actual product, right? So think of this. This is something, and just to explain the history of sensation transference, this was a concept proposed by a Ukrainian research scientist. I think this was in the 30s or 40s, where he brought about this concept. And to put it to the test, what he did was they had 2 brands of whiskey. One was, I think, E&J, and the other was, I think it's called Christian Brothers. And what was happening is, and I can't remember the story exactly, forgive me, but I think one brand of whiskey was performing better than the other. And that was confusing people because people couldn't tell why that was. These were seemingly 2 very similar whiskeys. They were both in the same price range. Why was one selling better than the other? And what they found was that people were saying that one of the whiskeys tasted better. But did they really? Because when people tasted them, they tasted kind of similar, even though a lot of the customers reported that these whiskeys tasted better. One of the whiskeys tasted better. So what Lewis did was he wanted to put his theory to the test, and one of the bottles was better designed than the other. And I think it was the Christian Brothers bottle looked better than the E&J bottle. And so the Christian Brothers bottle had a little bit more market share, and they were, making more sales. So in an effort to put his theory to the test, Louis Cheskin he swapped out the liquids, the beverage, in both bottles. So he took the E&J, put it in the Christian Brothers bottle. He took the Christian Brothers whiskey, put it in the E&J bottle, and what do you know? People said the E&J tasted better. Did it really taste better? No. It to them it tasted better, but objectively, was the taste better? No. It's because the bottle was a better looking bottle. So when somebody made a purchase, it was easier for them to justify why they just made that purchase, and people were reporting that the whiskey tasted better, right? And conversely, people said they didn't like the taste of the Christian Brothers as much, right? Keep in mind that the Christian Brothers was the winning brand, and that's the one that was selling more. But you take it out of one bottle, you put it in another, and now people are reporting that they don't like the taste as much, right? And that just goes to show how irrational and emotional human beings are. We like to think of ourselves as so predictable and so logical when we are the farthest thing from it. We obviously have logic and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, when we make decisions, especially when it comes to buying decisions, we lead with our emotions, and we lead with, we're not the most rational when we make these decisions, right? So another company, and companies all over do this. Apple definitely does it, right? With their design. If you compare Apple and Microsoft, Apple is always seen as the company that has placed more of a focus, and I would say even an equal amount of focus on their design as they do on the actual products. Every single thing, from the icons to the way the phone is designed to the typography they use. And I think I remember hearing Steve Jobs say, if he never took a typography course in college, Apple would not be what it is today. So everything kind of plays into each other. The colors they use, the shapes they use, and all that other stuff, the boxes they package their products in, all plays into the overall perception of the Apple brand. And what does that mean? What does that translate into? That means Apple can charge you more money for their products without you complaining as much, because it, quote, looks a little nicer. Now you compare that with a company like Microsoft, and now Microsoft, they're definitely starting to put more of a focus on design. So if we look at, let's just pop out of this presentation for a bit, and I'll go over to the Microsoft Surface, right? But historically, Microsoft hasn't really been paying attention or marketing to higher end clients, right? That's been Apple's thing. But if you look at the Surface, or if you look at the laptop that I'm using now, and it's called the Acer Aspire S7 392. Microsoft laptops never looked this clean and this sleek, right? This almost, not entirely, but almost kind of looks like a MacBook, right? Microsoft only recently started doing this kind of stuff. Historically, they've been more targeted towards the everyday person, right? And because of that, Microsoft, their stuff was priced slightly less. Apple has always been seen as the luxury brand. It's the brand that people who want to look cool buy, right? It's the brand that artists and creatives and musicians buy, right? And that definitely has a part to play. The design of these things definitely has a part to play in all of this, right? So that answers your question. Why should you care about graphic design? And we all do this, right? Just be a little more aware of when you go shopping and you're caught at a crossroads with two products that are very similar. What kind of things, what kind of statistics, or what kind of, tools do you use to make your decision in whether or not you should buy something? Well, I like this box better. I like the color of the pack. I like the packaging better of this product, so I'm going to buy it. Now, objectively, is this product going to perform any better than the other one? No. But you like the box better, so you'll buy it, right? We all do it. When we're buying wine, when we're buying, hair care products, when we're buying clothes, you know what I mean? When we're buying cell phones. There's just something about this brand. I like the way their boxes are. Now, could I put this product that I just sold to you in a crappy box that I got from, a recycle place? Of course. Would it be the same product? Of course. But the value and the perceived value would be way higher if I took some time out to put some labeling on that box. If I took some time out to build a really high quality box like the ones Apple build, it would mean way more to you, and I could charge you more without it raising any red flags to you, if it was in a better box, right? So this is something we all do, right? And as internet marketers, you got to understand, we're selling, most of us at least, obviously people do sell, physical products on the internet, but a lot of us are selling digital products. We're selling information. And what that means is it is extremely challenging to communicate the value of something to someone when they can go to this other website who's promising the same thing. Saturation is a very big challenge on the internet, right? If I want to learn how to write copy, I mean, my God, I go into Google and I search how to write a headline, how to write copy. I'm going to come up with millions of results on how to write copy. If I want to learn how to write an email, same thing. If I want to learn how to launch a product online, same thing. So because of this, you need to use everything in your power to differentiate your product in the marketplace. What are some ways you can do that? You can do that by building a brand. You actually have a brand that your customer's able to latch onto. You have a story. That's another thing you can use. Good copy. That's another thing you can use. But let's not forget about good design, right? Good design. Take this PowerPoint presentation, for example. Could I have just put some black text on a white screen? Of course I could. Of course I could. Would it be the same information? Would it be the same slide? A challenge online marketers face? Of course it would. But I went out of my way to create these graphics, and it didn't take that long, right? And that's what we're going to be covering in this course, right? As I do this more and more, and you guys are exposed to my products, will you guys start building a perception of my brand in your brain? Of course you will. And that's the goal, right? So you got to understand how saturated the marketplace is and how much of a challenge it is for customers to make a buying decision. And you got to also realize how arbitrary their decision may be. They might literally not buy from you because they don't like the font on your website. They might not buy from you because the color on your website is too bright, right? You need to be aware of these things, and you need to use everything in your power to create a vacuum that makes that sale. And graphic design definitely has its place in that vacuum. So, right? So that's a challenge online marketers face. Communicating value, then that's basically what I covered just now. Communicating value isn't always easy, right? So that concludes video number 1. Hopefully I have you convinced on why you should care about graphic design. Keep in mind that I'm not just talking about doing this because it looks nice. No. At the end of the day, let's be honest here. At the end of the day, you are a business owner, you're an internet marketer, and the only language you speak, or at least the language that is you speak the loudest, or the language you're the most fluent in, is revenue, is sales, is money. And there's nothing wrong with that. We're in business here. What I'm saying to you is good graphic design will add more money to your pocket, will add more money to your bottom line. And that is why you should care about good graphic design. Don't worry about it. It's not that hard to create. I have an entire course ahead of you here. I have an entire course, put forth for you here that we're going to be going through, and I'm going to be showing you how to do these things. Everything is step by step. Everything is super easy. So I will see you in the next video. And the next video is going to be called The Elements of Your Design. That should say video number 2. Elements of your design, we're going to be breaking down the design of these different graphics into different elements. It's going to make it way easier for you to understand. And cool. So I thank you for checking out video number 1. I'll see you guys in video number 2, the elements of your design. This is Fire Your Graphic Designer. I am Rohan. Take care.